Call the meeting back to order. We're on 10.1.
Wow.
J-Class Road Paving, Infrastructure and Operations.
Good morning, Council. Yes.
Did you have a drink before you sit down?
My vacation request will be later. Good morning, Council. Today, as in your reports, it's a report for our yearly submission for J-Class roads. So as for the motion of 2023-459, we used the exact same criteria as last year. We just removed the road that was approved and moved the list up one. So you have before you the proposed 10 roads for this year.
Yeah.
So what we're asking is to either direct staff to submit as reported,
Or change it.
give us a new
Based on
10,
nothing.
or say we're not doing anything. These are our three choices.
Well, we're gonna change it.
I'll move we approve it as.
Hello, no,
Thank
wait.
you, Sharon.
I had Derek and then I had Andre and then whatever.
Well, I think we also concluded when we had that discussion last year that our criteria is absolutely not working. And what we should be looking at is condition, not if there's a church on it, not if there's a school on it, and particularly if they're hazardous. In the road conditions, that in our criteria, that's 60%. I think we all know, and I've come full circle on this, I supported this process from the beginning because I thought I'd take the politics out of it. But it doesn't work, and it's not accurate.
You want a devil's proposition?
Yeah, I wanted to
Politics.
Politics, my bad.
100% politics.
I think, no, it's not, but we know the roads.
Exactly.
And I'd like to know, from the point of view of road condition, how many of these roads are deemed hazardous?
These roads are all 4s and 5s. There's no 1, 2s, and
Okay.
3s, so
I
these
know
are the
they're
worst
4s. I
ones.
know they're all 4.
Yeah.
Which ones are hazardous? Which ones are 5s?
5s, I don't have it in this report, but I believe Stevens Road is a 5, Frida Hill is a 5, and the rest are 4s, I believe.
When they're at the top.
And
Well, I
they're-
don't agree. I agree Stevens Road is the worst road in the municipality.
I agree, I drove it.
If you drove it, you know it. If you compare Frida's and Walker Road is a much more hazardous road than Frida's. And I actually, even though Frida's is in my district, I don't think it's the second most needy road. I think Pig Loop would trump Frida's Road. But I think Stevens is 1, Walker is 2, Chester Downs is probably 3, Pig Loop is 4, and where you go from there doesn't really matter.
Because you're not gonna get anywhere with that in.
We're not even gonna get those. But we have to have our worst roads in the top 3. I mean, we know.
Ironically, they chose number 4 last year.
Yeah, they chose number 4 because.
Because it's
Because of the
cheap.
price.
It's cheap.
Yeah, well, it is, because I mean, there's $1 million goes all over across the province, that's all there is, so.
But I mean, we know that Walker, for example, and Pig Loop as well, can't be done without the province's greater participation. And we need to send a message to the province that this is our priority, so that the MLA can take that and hopefully get the province to get on side to fix up.
But Pig Loop isn't even on this list.
I know, it's ridiculous. I mean, that's one of the most dangerous roads in the village, and it doesn't even make the top 10. It's crazy.
But it's,
But this is surface
sort of,
condition.
it's sort of dangerous for a different reason though. It's
Yeah.
dangerous because of its alignment.
Yeah, it's not the upgrade.
It's not really the surface condition, that's the trouble. And this is really intended to deal with the surface condition. It is,
Yeah, Pig Loop is all about the angles of the road and the
It is both.
bushes on the sides.
But it is both, it is. But, okay, but the bottom line is, I think we have to agree Stevens is number 1.
I go and I agree with that.
And Walker has got to be number 2. And after that, it probably doesn't matter even.
Because you're not gonna get anywhere in that anyway.
Well, I'd be fine with switching Brutus Hill and Walker if that's good enough.
Okay, make a motion.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, switch 2 and 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so Stevens is 1, Walker's gonna be number 2 and the rest remain numbers after that.
I just gotta ask a question if I can.
Yeah.
So we're just throwing the process in. That's what I'm hearing.
That's what we're doing, yes.
Well, Stevens is already number 1.
But I think, I'm just saying my opinion here. I think before we do that, we have to make a decision on process.
Well, I'd like to speak about when you're
Well, I
finished.
was just gonna say, next year, if this comes back to council, we're gonna be presented by the process, I would take it.
And that's what you're.
Are we changing the process, is my question. Because if we're not changing the process, we're not doing it right.
I think what we would do next year is present what we've done this year. Here it is with the criteria that
Council
were
always has the
previously
option.
established. Council has the option to make a different decision and reprioritize.
My process is take the most hazardous ones. And
But that was determined by our staff. You want to go and look?
They're doing their job.
Based on what we
Why we
direct.
did it.
Well, I mean, I get it, I want them to keep listing it the way they are, but at the end of the day, it is up to council, and some of that is based on money and just reality of life. I mean, you know you're only gonna get so much money, so the ones in that you think politically have the best chance of success.
But we did Walker Road's gonna get a chance to success that.
Well,
732,000, we know we're gonna get 200,000. I'm not talking, I just want to put on the top of realistic and our process.
so the thing is, we know that the $2 million budget that the province has for the whole
No,
province.
sorry, 1 million.
1 million.
It's
there's
1
no
million.
chance in the
There's 2
world.
million only when we and our
I did.
So they've allocated.
We have a
one-
chance of getting the top two there, or one or the other.
Yeah, that's so good.
So I think leave it, is my opinion.
Leave it, no, Walker's much worse than previous.
But we're never gonna get them.
I don't know how they've evaluated them, but just drive both of them.
So the evaluation is based on surfacing of the road. It's not based on the underlying structure of the road, which is part of what the
Yeah.
issue is on Walker Road.
I
that makes it
understand.
hazardous.
I understand that.
So that is how we do it.
But there's other criteria that are sort of transparent here. For example, we know in our communities which, like for example, Freedom Road have seasonal residences on them, whereas Walker Road has more full-time residents. That's probably not very well accounted for in this.
This is just condition of the road, there's
That's
no
right.
other factors.
So when you know that people will have to traverse these roads in the wintertime, it makes a difference. And so that's where we have the option as folks that actually know who's there, who's using the roads, that we can manipulate this a little bit. And that's why it's important to have that, to reserve that right. I see nothing wrong with Derek's request.
No, other than the fact that the chances of getting
Zero.
732,000 dollars.
Well, that's their shame.
Yeah, but yeah.
That's not our
Well, we're
issue.
always told we have to put it on our list. We're always told by the MLA, we have to get this on our list, have to get it on our
Well,
list.
I can ask council for permission. We have a citizen who would like to speak, does council have
No
any
problem.
objections?
No problem.
Thank you.
Okay.
So let's just say, so you're saying Walker Road, you all recognize there's an engineering problem there, because it really, it's a water problem. And, but yet it goes into the same pile competing for the paving budget.
Yeah.
So is there a separate track? There's no sort of separate path for things that are more comprehensive projects? Like, for example, let's say in a few years, Water Street ends up on the list, which it could because, you know, it's starting to sink, it's all degrading. That would be not a paving issue. I mean, that's a,
It would be outside of the jurisdiction of the municipality of Chester.
right. So these things almost need a separate,
Yeah,
it's almost like a waterfront protection.
it's sort of a negotiation outside of, like, we have no responsibility for it.
But need a negotiating power. Okay.
So the surface of the road, the costs are based on the length. It's like so many dollars per meter
Yeah.
to reinstate the asphalt. And if this, it's like the sub-base needs work, that's additional cost that the province would have to undertake. They're well aware of these things, so I have no doubt in Bedford or wherever they make these decisions, they look at this and they realize that they can get a component of the resurfacing money back from the municipality.
So they might possibly.
But they also realize, you know, because they have their advisors from their various areas are talking to them that, you know, if you do Walker Road, that you know, that you may get half of the money back for the resurfacing, but there's gonna be an additional whatever, 1 million or whatever to correct the base. They're looking at their budgets and they're saying, well, you know, do we wanna take this project on or do we wanna do something else? And
So,
that's 100% provincial. Our component is small.
yeah.
And this is the fight. The analogy I use, you know, we have all these things on fire around us and we're given a bucket of water and we don't even get to throw the bucket. We just point at some places we think could use it and then they make a couple of bucket and throw it somewhere else.
Like, I don't mind putting Walker second, but the only problem is you know before you start, you're not gonna get $732,000 or a $1 billion provincial budget.
Well, we might in an election year, you never know.
Yeah.
Well, not unless they up the ante.
And they might, and that's the thing, they could.
Anything's possible.
Several years ago, I guess it was 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Yeah, they did a whole bunch of roads,
They
they didn't
did.
even bother to ask us for anything.
It was 10, yeah, it was 10 years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
Or, sorry, 10 times the budget, yeah.
Yeah.
It's 10 million, went to 10 million.
So I wouldn't be surprised that there's some extra money coming.
There's been times when they've done J-class roads without any contribution from us, just because of,
But it won't unless we got it high up on our list, that's why I wanna change the number.
Yeah, so I have no issue with you.
well, somebody tell me what we wanna
We
do.
just told you,
Well, I have no motion.
I made a motion,
Did you?
yeah,
Steve here.
just saying, you'll find it again.
Stevens and Walker. Stevens 1, Walker 2.
So we're going to,
We're gonna change Frida's to
we're
water.
gonna switch 2 and 5.
We're just switching, yeah, okay.
I'll second that.
Discussion on the motion. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried.
Thank you.
You feel better?
Yeah, we don't follow our process.
Well,
Well, we're gonna follow the Dallas process.
I don't agree with following a flawed process, and our process is flawed, you need to review it.
We need to revise it.
There's no,
The problem is we've tried to revise it 4 times. And
yes, and then it all turns into politics.
yeah, we end
That's
up with ones
policy.
with the roads we know are the worst, end up like 30th on the list.
And that's my argument, is that and if I pick 2 roads in my district, and Ed, you know my plan, I'm willing to stand by that to my district and say, this is why these roads, I'm willing to do that. And the same as whoever's on that table. And that seems to me, we know our district, nothing else is working, we've revised it 4 times.
There can be problematic if you do it politically.
I don't think that's politically, I don't understand how you find it political.
Well, if you're gonna pick, if the council's gonna pick it every time, it doesn't necessarily have to be fair.
Well, no, how many, so we have 5 districts, we changed much, or 6. Okay,
Yeah,
so,
Alan's got 1.
I have one little road that if I can't possibly fix, because if I don't fix Lacey Mines getting into it, what's the
so there you go, so let's say we're working with 5 districts.
Yeah.
That gets each district to pick 2. Each district gets to pick 2, and it's up to the councillor which ones he picks. And I'm willing to say if I want to have Lake Lawrence Hat Road done, and X amount the other road done, I can live with that. Just submit it. I'm not saying that it's gonna get fixed, because nothing else is working.
So how do you get yours to the top if 4 or 5 councils?
I don't think it matters.
I think it does.
It doesn't matter to me.
Well, okay.
If I can get it on that list,
Adela,
yes.
Andre has some really bad roads. He wants to top the list, and I
Yes.
agree with him. They're
Yes.
terrible, I go. So let's say the other 4 councillors say, the hell with Andre. We're not putting him to the top, and we're getting ours done first, even though his are worse.
I can totally see that happening.
Yeah, I can
That can happen.
Totally can happen.
That's politics.
But I think
Like it or not.
I think you're looking at it wrong, because necessarily if it's at the top, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be.
We're always gonna get our list of the conditions, and then it's up to council to make up their mind, just like they did this morning.
The trouble is, really, is that many of them are so bad in different ways that it's really hard to identify. Like, I really don't even like the ranking. I wish they were just a list with no ranking. And here's 10 roads.
Perfect.
You're gonna do whatever you want anyway, province, so
I like that.
let's not pretend that there's any kind, because we're splitting hairs at this point.
I like that idea. 10 roads, I'll put them in any order. You get rid of
Put
the,
them in alphabetical order.
Okay, are we gonna move on to 10.2?
Please.
Tentative council meeting scheduled for September, and October, and November.
That's right.
Maria?
So,
It is what it is.
yeah, we're suggesting that we cancel the September 26th meeting. That's the AMANS conference. So staff,
What's
some
AMANS?
staff will be the Association of Municipal Administrators.
Yes, I have on the record. Most
So-
people would know what AMANS is.
Yeah, so, and then, for the October, we're suggesting that we do committee of the whole and the council meeting the first two. But then the one just before the election, October 17th, that we cancel. The 31st we cancel,
Yeah.
that's Halloween.
Well, I thought we were gonna come in costume.
That would be nice, yeah.
What would you come as, Andre?
Well, if you don't have a meeting, you won't find out.
Okay, yeah, and don't forget there'll be evening meetings, right? So Halloween,
Even better.
evening meeting.
They're not evening till the new councils.
That's what it was.
That would be a new council meeting.
Yeah.
But I just think the fact is, why would you schedule meetings?
You could have council meeting on the 31st, but because they're being held in the evening and it's Halloween.
Oh, yeah,
Suggested
okay.
November the 7th, but it's the first.
Problems with evening meetings already.
Yeah.
If we held a meeting, would that be the first meeting? Yes. So if we held a meeting, that would be the first meeting where we would do the swearing in.
Yeah, I like the schedule like that.
It's fine the way it is. the way
We
it is.
have quite a space between council there, it's something I see, September. The council meeting September 12th, and that's on October, it's almost a month. Should we change it to?
Well, we can hold October 3rd, just cancel instead of committee of the whole.
that's
Okay.
Yeah, just so that if there's anything that needs to be done, we can do it.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
So do that, and then the rest of it works?
Sure.
Okay, good. There you go.
Make a motion to that.
Probably.
I'll make a motion to approve the suggested changes except for the October 3rd would be announced on the committee of the whole.
Seconder?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. So now, Derek, did we already deal with your planning issue?
We did.
We did. So there is no other new business, people. So a motion to go in camera.
So moved.
Second.
Seconded discussion.